Tell me if this sounds familiar. Got a great business idea. I mean, you finally landed on the perfect one, the perfect product or the perfect service. But now you need to name the business. And it's important. It's kind of like naming a child. And so you take your time, you ideate forever, you go through a huge list of names because you want it to be unique, you want it to describe, you don't want it to be too obvious. And after all this time trying to find the perfect name, you then have to search for the domain. Is the domain available? Um, nope, it isn't. It's $100,000. So you adjust. You adjust the name, you put a hyphen in, you do something, you figure it out. And then after you've gone through that, you gotta search for the handles on social media because that's important. You know that's important. It's part of marketing. And so you search and you make little micro adjustments to figure out the dots or the underscores, how to do it, the numbers, all of that stuff. You adjust this a little bit more. And then you got to file with the state. So after all that effort, you better pray that it's available with the state. And it is. So you file. And then you find out you need an EIN with the IRS. And so you go to file federally. And you discover, or at least you're praying, that it's available. And this is just to name the business. You haven't even started building the business. And I'm just exhausted talking about this, honestly. Like, it's so much. I have had so many friends and some family and people that I work with complain to me about this process. Not because I have any control over it, because I'm great at it. I've lost count of how many times I've been frustrated by it. Even just yesterday, I was talking with a buddy who has been trying to figure out the name of his business for months, actual months. And he was explaining this whole thing, everything I just went through with you. He was explaining it to me and just frustrated. He's like, I just want to do business, but I need to name the freaking thing. But he's very consumer facing, so it matters. So I want to create a solution to this. Maybe not the whole problem, but at least part of it. I want to make people's lives easier just at the start of the business because this shouldn't be the hardest part. Hey guys, real quick. I'm David, and this is Million Dollar Maybes. This is my newest experiment where I am discovering and exploring a bunch of new business ideas. I'm doing this through designing, building, and if I get really lucky and something goes my way, hopefully operating one or a few of these. And this channel is a way for me to share that journey, share the experience, and share a bit of what I've learned along the way. I'm an ex-consultant. I'm also a business advisor and a business designer. How chic. I know. All right. So with all that out of the way, let's jump back in and get after it. Before I keep talking about the problem and how I want to solve it, I just want to set up the space here real quick. This is something I do with every idea that I come up with. And so I have a little bit of a template that I use just to try and make things easy, keep my thoughts organized. And I just have it in here. This is Notion. I'm a big fan of Notion. I use it with tons of other people for collaborating. Found it to be a really easy tool to use. So let's create a new project. Boom, one pager. We're just gonna leave it named that because I haven't named it yet, which is okay. That's what we're trying to solve for right now, right? So there's three sections here. There's the three W's, the MVP, the 1 minute business model. If you don't know what those are, that's okay, because I haven't explained it at all yet. I'm a big fan of Noah Kagan's $1 Million Weekend. I actually have a copy that sits on my desk or on the bookshelf at all times, and I reference it pretty frequently. But I'm a big fan of Noah's way of thinking and approaching business. It really strips away a lot of the nonsense and dives into just the super actionable stuff, which like that's what we should be focusing on right now. And people tend to like get in their own way of trying to like over design, get stuck in the weeds, all that stuff. So we're not going to do that. So all three of these sections are kind of pulled from that book in one way or another, kind of modified as I've used them. The big focus here is one of his mantras, Noah Kagan, is now, not how. I like to keep that in mind, especially in the beginning stages here of just being really action oriented. How can I focus on the on minimalism? What's the least amount that I need to do to kind of get something off the ground? And the first iteration might look absolutely nothing like the final product. And I would say that happens most of the time, especially in my experience. Another mantra that helps me in the early days here comes from alpine climbing, and it's fast and light. How can we move really quickly in this process? Just trying to design things. So that's what MVP really stands for, and that's kind of the ambiance, the nature, the spirit of MVP, meaning minimum viable product. And so we're just going to focus on now, not how, fast and light as we move through these things, especially in this day and age of AI. You got to be able to move quick. Like we are equipped and we are empowered to design, build, validate, execute on business ideas so much quicker than ever before. So don't get bogged down in all the details and stuff. Things are going to change. We're going to move fast. We're going to move light, and we're just going to keep moving. That's one of the most important things here. So, real quick, we're going to jump into the 3 W's. So, I'll just fill it out as we're looking at this. So, what is the problem we're trying to solve? Let's see here. It is really difficult and annoying, time consuming to pick a business name that is available everywhere. Everywhere, i.e., domains and social handles and state, federal. Okay. Who has this problem? All right, so like, who are the people that we're kind of targeting here? Who are the people that you're envisioning have this problem outside of you? You can even put names to it. If it's people that's even better. Like that's a really great thing to do early on in a business. So who has this problem? Um, let's see. Not new business owners. It's aspiring, that's what we're looking for. Aspiring entrepreneurs. Love spelling that word. Aspiring entrepreneurs who have a great business idea and are trying to make it a reality. So I'm going to, as an example person, we're gonna go with my buddy Larry. Where can we find these people and are they willing to pay? Oh, where do these people hang out? LinkedIn. Um, um, it should be like super available. Um, Reddit is always always the place to find people. Friends, family. Uh, thinking of places in town. Man, it's really everyone that wants to start a business. Um, so that's kind of like too big of of a market. I think LinkedIn is like pretty good. Um, One thing that you'll see pretty commonly on LinkedIn, if you're looking and you have friends that are entrepreneurs, founders in that space, is they will put in their profile stealth or like stealth mode. Um, but yeah, if it's funny if you go into LinkedIn, see if I can find it real quick. If you go into LinkedIn and put in stealth startup, 1 million followers. Yeah, a lot of people. Um, but like for some reason, like this is the one that people always choose as their like employer when they're in stealth mode. Stealth mode meaning like they're building the product, they're building the company, but they're not like ready to go public yet. Typically, like it's a hardware thing or a software thing where it's really protected, really important IP being the edge, the intellectual property. Like they want that to be their competitive market edge, and so they'll protect it as long as they can, and then kind of come out stealth mode. I know a few people who have that right now. So like you can always, yeah, um, tons of people, and like these people don't work for self startup. Like it's not a thing. So, anyways, so like that's actually like pretty decent. Stealth startup. And then, are they willing to pay? So when I was talking with Larry yesterday, he mentioned this because I kind of threw out the idea. I was like, yeah, I've been like bouncing this idea around for a while in my world is a few weeks or a couple months. And he's like, oh my gosh, dude, I would pay $100 right now just to like solve this problem for me, because he's, like I said, he's been doing this for months and he's just sick of it. He just wants to do business now, but he's like been super caught up on the name, and kind of for good reason. Like we've gone through multiple ideating sessions together and we just like haven't been able to find a great one. Not yet. Hopefully by the time this video publishes, he'll have found a great one. We'll see. So yes. Um, Man, like, every startup goes through this. I was listening to a podcast this morning. This is a great reference. I'll put it in the show notes. Let's see if I can find it real quick. But it was the founder of, let's see all of this. Let's see. Tim Ferriss. Where you at, man? Tim Ferriss is my man. All right, so this one right here.
Is the blade sharp?
Play. Um, but Rich Barton, he built Expedia and Zillow. Um, Somewhere in here, he digs into actually the um, his naming process, and like he has a lot of different rules around it, or kind of guidelines of like making a great name. One of them was 2 syllables, tries to have it be 2 syllables, tries to have a high point Scrabble letter in there, being like Z, Q, X. He tries to have a double letter if he can. And then he also tries to make it sound like a great dog name, which I found was like super interesting. So I think Zillow is a great example of this. Obviously, it's got the Z, so that's like 10 points in Scrabble. It's got the double letters, which people just like really like that, I guess. It's a psychology thing. It's 2 syllables, and it kind of sounds like a dog name. I don't think anyone's naming their dog Zillow at this point, but kind of sounds like it. So, all right, back to here. Are they willing to pay for it? Yes. Larry, confirm this. Now, this is kind of a good point from a validation standpoint. Larry's a friend. He's practically family to me, and no money changed hands, right? He didn't actually pay me for it. So always be careful when you're, validating or confirming business ideas. Like, who are you asking? Are you asking your actual audience and like actual prospective customer? And then are they willing to pay you? I learned this one again from Noah Kagan in Million Dollar Weekend. He has this $1 challenge, which is to tell people the idea, the business idea, and then get them to give you $1, kind of as like a down payment, a deposit, something like that. Because once someone has to actually pay you, no matter how much money it is, yeah, that means a lot more. Yeah, it's a lot of friction from an emotional standpoint. And can be a lot of friction in this day and age. It's not just you're reaching into the pocket, grab a dollar bill. Sometimes it's Venmo or Cash App or Apple Pay, what have you. So um, I'm just going to go off of, since we're moving fast and light, Larry said he'd pay me $100. So we're running with it. Okay. Next, digging in here with the MVP. Now, as a reminder, what's the problem we're trying to solve? It's really difficult and annoying and time consuming to pick a business name that's available everywhere. So it's ideating a business name, and then validating its availability for domains, social handles, and state, federal. So it's not going to tell you like, yo, this is a really great name. I don't know, maybe doesn't really feel like the scope of it, but biggest thing is this thing available? Or is someone already registered with this name? So that's what we're looking for from a kind of requirement standpoint. So let's describe. Scope description. That'll work. A web app or website that someone can go to and search a business name, see if it is available or taken. Across domain social handles and state federal registrations. So it's kind of like going to GoDaddy or Namecheap.com, right? We go to, I always use Namecheap. There we go. So it's like kind of going on here and typing in a random business. This is searching for domains, Namecheap. And it's gonna like, oh, a random business is available. So that's a domain. We also have a randombusiness.com. So that's kind of the look, kind of the functionality we're going for. Except it would be checking it across those various areas. So, all right, we have that. Now, name. This is probably the most ironic part of this. Let's see. I'm not gonna follow. I'm not gonna follow Rich Barton's rules here, so we're just gonna kill that. Kill that. Um, that would take way too long. We're gonna make it really obvious. Business name checker. Biz name checker. So we do have biznamechecker.com. Ooh, biznamechecker.ai. Unfortunately, that is $80. That is Not in the budget. Not today. We go to Italy. Bunch of different ones here. Biznamechecker.pro. Biznamechecker.online. It really doesn't matter. Okay, so it's available. Biz Name Checker. Remember, fast and light. We are moving fast and light, now not how. Biz Name Checker. Domain. Biznamechecker.com. Yeah, that's fine. We'll go with that. Now, like, quick pause on this. Um, when you're like thinking through a business idea, it's definitely important to think through or think past your first product or your first service. Because if you're going to sell more, do more in the future, kind of planning to do that, you might want to take that into consideration. Um, so you can hold that over here, but like intention, um, like on the other side of things, business names are cheap in the beginning. Like there are so many businesses out there, like pretty much all the Fortune 100 companies started as like a different name and probably as a different product. And then they just kind of like evolve. So like don't get super hung up on it, especially when you're moving fast and light, but just something to like think through if you can think through it real quickly of like, oh yeah, I would actually want to, well, here's an example. Biz name checker. That really indicates we're just checking your business name. From from a scope perspective, product wise, or like how we're going to monetize different revenue streams, we could dig into, hey, we're going to provide the services for actually registering your business. Like, and we're going to get the domain and we are going to get the social handles for you. We're going to go out and do all that stuff, whether personally, which wouldn't happen. I'm not building that business, or with AI agents, which I 100% would much prefer to do. And that's like the direction people are going, and kind of want to go. And obviously, like some of that business already exists. Like accountants and lawyers can do this on the side where they're like, they offer a package service of like, hey, you can pay us $500 and we will register your LLC. Don't do it. Don't do it. In my opinion, huge waste of money. Um, but like those exist, and so I think there's an opportunity here to just like completely undercut them, annihilate them. But we're moving fast and light, so what I could do in the future is, hey, we're just going to like redirect biznamechecker.com to um, whatever the future version is. We'll just do that. So, not getting hung up. All right. So we did our three W's. What's the problem we're solving? Who has this problem? Where can we find them? Are they willing to pay? We have the MVP here, kind of like high level description, um, some requirements in there, which are, yeah, we don't have to worry about that. The name, not not amazing, not going to win any awards for this thing, but it'll work. And then real quick, like the 1 minute business model. Um, I'm actually going to change this. So sometimes it's fun to do this math real quick of like, hey, how many customers or how much am I going to have to charge to hit $1 million? Well, you know what? In the spirit of this channel, $1 million maybes, what would it take to crack $1 million? So let's see. Got a trusty calculator around here somewhere. Yes. It's not a TI-83 or anything like that, but it is Texas Instruments, and it works. That's what matters. All right. So Larry said he would pay $100. Think don't think that's feasible. I think, well, real quick, revenue model, like how are we going to make money? Um, in the AI world today, there's a few different ways people like charge for products. One popular thing is to like buy a bunch of tokens or attempts or tries or runs or whatever. Let's say, in this case, let's say, hey, 100 tokens costs you $20 and 100 tokens gets you like 5 name checks or something. I have to do the math on that, but probably works out pretty decently. And then someone could just kind of like reload their purse. This is really derived from my understanding from like video games, especially mobile games. That's how kids can really run up the credit card bills for parents. Is when they're buying like the rubies and the gems and the diamonds, the gold coins, all that stuff to like get things in the game, advantages and whatnot. Um, so there's like that option. There's also just subscription fee of like, hey, $20 a month. Could be gated. Yeah, $20 a month. Some other options are just like pay per run, which is really terrible because then like every time someone wants to run it, there's just a lot of friction in that process that I don't want to introduce. So what do I think? Thinking about our customer. Um, they're just gonna want to run it. Most people aren't gonna be doing this like consistently throughout the year, I don't think. Um, yeah, I would not think they would run it consistently. So, um, someone like Larry might do it for a month, 2 months, 3 months, kind of max. So maybe for the first time, actually, you're doing the token option be the best. Not sure on that. Let's just say $20. Let's token model with or at yeah, token model um slash usage. Um There's not like a ridiculous amount of stickiness, so we just want to like kind of get them while they're hot. And then we can make money off of the margin can is controlled but could fluctuate. Margin could increase if someone has like 100 tokens, they only use like 80, and then they just like never use it again. So there's kind of that nice cushion available. For let's see, everything's so cheap with AI these days. Say $20. Um, so yeah, 1 million divided by $20 is what, 50,000? 20? Yeah, $20. Yeah, 50,000. So that's 50,000 customers. 50,000, really, it's like 50,000 hits. You could have a customer who hits it 20 times, which would be crazy. I think that's pretty unlikely. Um, okay, so that'd be 50,000 customers. I don't love that. Let's go check this real quick. Let's ask our good friend ChatGPT. I am building a web app website that someone can go to and search a business name and see if it is available or taken across domains, social handles, and state and federal registrations. How should what should the revenue model be, and how much should I charge? Can you also calculate how many customers I will need to reach $1 million? All right, so it's thinking. Business name availability engine. Ooh, engine. That's a good name. Okay, potential revenue models. We have freemium plus paywall for deep checks. So freemium meaning like you can use it once or you could use it like 3 times, and you got to sign up with an email. Something I've been seeing lately actually is um, you get like 3 free runs if you're a guest or anonymous. You're not signing in, but it's gonna record your IP address. So that's how they kind of block it. And then if you log in with like your Google address, then it allows you to get like 10 free things, which is really great because then I like that model because it kind of encourages people to sign up, which gives you a little bit more control over customers and potential customers because more people that you can get onto your mailing list, the better. Because someone who's already, a captive audience, a lot easier to convert into a customer than someone that you're just cold outreaching to. So that's an interesting model. Interesting. Okay. One-time pricing per search or report could work well for one-off users not needing a subscription. Yeah, I kind of agree with that. Affiliate revenue, commission. So this would be monetizing on the back end of like, hey, Namecheap, we're gonna have a partnership with you, and so we're always gonna send people to you. Um, or advertising, stuff like that. Um, yeah, I don't think that's gonna work. Um, okay, so is saying a $9 one-time report. Um, I was a little off with $20. Well, that puts us at 111,112 users. So 11's my lucky number. Let's just not go with that. All right, so ChatGPT's recommendation, free search into a one-time report upsell. Um, yeah, subscription for creators. Okay. Oh, okay. It's asking me if I want any of these things. Can you give me a brand name idea? Also, I want to go with the free search to one time, free search to paid report option. But I want to use bank of tokens, meaning customer, for example. And there's definitely a better term for this. I just don't know it right now. I bet ChatGPT is going to tell me that in a second. I want to use a bank of tokens. For example, a customer can buy 100 tokens and then use those tokens for basic searches or premium reports. Right there, trying to like create a little bit of diversification and options. We're not moving fast and light. We gotta move fast and light. Okay. Let's see where this goes. Otherwise, the free to kind of like $9 thing seems well. Brand name ideas. Name sniff. That's odd. Availabot. Handlehound. Dot snatch. Clear name. Name authority. Brand lock. Name authority is pretty interesting. All right. You run the $1 million calculation again with these updates. Okay, so my $20 wasn't super far off. Um, okay, so let's see. That's not realistic that everyone buys a 100 token builder pack, but it's saying 34,000 customers, so a little that's encouraging. Split between 100 and 250 token, which those were in the middle. Now let's just see a blend across. Yeah, that feels right. 40, 30, 20, 10, just kind of a standard step down. And we're looking at 14,286 customers. So I like that. That's pretty cool. We're gonna save this for later. Um, but for now, all right, what we're gonna do is free free one run for guest, free three runs signed in, and then $25 packages with 5. We're roughed out there. So let's change that 25. That gets us down to 40,000 customers. Kind of a good exercise to go through here. So, all right. So that's the 1 minute business model. I am really happy where I've got things right now with that whole one pager, the 3 Ws, kind of figuring out what the problem was, a little bit of roughing out the solution through the MVP, kind of trying to constantly remind myself, as you heard, of moving fast and light, focusing on the now, not really the how. Got a little bit bogged down in that, admittedly, in the 1 minute business model. But you could tell these are things I love thinking through. And so the next step is going to be to actually build this thing. And that is something I don't do as much of. So that's might be a little bit longer video. We'll see. There's going to be a lot of editing involved with that one. But that's going to be the next video. We're gonna call it here because I'm happy. I'm happy with where things are sitting. So thanks for hanging out. Thanks for listening. If you liked what I'm doing here, like, subscribe, all that stuff. And if you have any thoughts, leave them in the comments. If you're like, absolutely, dude, I want this product, let me know. Let me know in the comments. Just drop something saying, hey, build this. I want this. I'm going to use this. This is how much I would pay. Be like Larry. Let me know. Give me that information because that feedback is huge. So thanks for hanging out, guys. And thanks for being along with this newest experiment of $1 million maybes. I'll see you on the next video.